Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome to the first episode of Second Breakfast with a bunch of reprobates. Thanks for the idea, George. How you doing, man?
Oh, good, good. Yeah, just gotten. I was sick like last month for like the longest time, so it's kind of feel like it finally back to kind of normal.
There were a couple of people I know who were just sick as a dog for weeks and weeks. Hello, Chewy. And thankfully, we didn't have anything like that. The boy has seasonal allergies, and those are getting him down a little, but not as bad as they could have, considering all the drywall dust that got everywhere
Ah,
from the repairs. The guy just finished yesterday. Literally uh, packed up his stuff, did all the last minute stuff.
hmm
He did some extra stuff as well, but it took him damn near a month to do what people have told me they could have done in a couple of days, type of thing.
yeah.
But hey, what's up, Death Angel? You know where the link is if you want to join in my Discord. The link channel at the very top of my Discord. And so, like, I haven't gotten shit done except my evening games because he leaves or left by like 4 o'clock, and those things, they take some work, but like I can't write when there's people, pounding and sawing and drilling and running around, and
Yeah,
the only
and every noise that's a little different. You get like, oh, are they breaking the house or something? I'd be getting up to just check on them every 2 minutes and get nothing done.
yeah. Yeah, well, since I know one, I know the lead guy. I know him. He's worked on the house before, but he gets his helpers from Home Depot. So I got to watch them, and they're in different rooms doing different things. Just got to be sly about it. They
Yeah.
know I'm watching them. But
Oh
I got
yeah.
to make it look like I'm not being a dick about it. Even though if they did something wrong, I talk to the boss and say, hey, do a little better job on this or that. But all in all, I guess I'm happy because the bonus side of the matter is we got a new dishwasher, which we've never had. I mean, we had one, but it didn't work. I've
hmm
never used a dishwasher in my life. I just do it by hand. Why? And now that we have one, it's like, well, I still got to rinse them and do all the other things. I'm only like one step away
Yeah.
from
Yeah. Exactly.
doing it myself. But
I think
the
it.
wife wanted a dishwasher, so we got a dishwasher,
Yeah.
and I,
Yeah.
I, I got a lot of spring cleaning done and some other redecorating, and my garage looks like a whole new place. It was oh, I had 35 27-gallon totes full of gaming stuff, and I knocked that down to 25 by repacking and positioning and putting things back on the shelves where they go. And now Jackie can get to all the minis and the terrain for his game, which he had a game last night with two, four, six players here and two players online. I wish I could get him to come in and talk about it, but he's too cool for school for that. So
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, it's everybody's dead, Dave. I got this in the mail a couple days ago, but I wanted to save it for today. I actually was hoping that it would have come in time for my Red Dwarf video. Sadly, no. But there's going to be another Red Dwarf video when I watch seasons 9, 10, 11, and 12, and I'll get to wear it again for the show. But I was looking for a Red Dwarf, something simpler, like maybe just a Jupiter Mining Core shirt to see if anybody would, notice. And I saw this one. I'm like, oh, best line from the first second best line from the first episode. So I'm like, and it was only like $15. You can't beat that, right? I mean, these
Yeah.
days, remember, you know, I have concert shirts that I paid for at the concert that I paid less for, but that's because I'm, that old, I guess.
Yeah. I liked your British Steel shirt the other day.
Yeah, I wanted a Screaming for Vengeance, but then I
On
realized if I
Helion.
got one, it would have to be like an orange T-shirt to really, you know.
hmm
But I'm like, no, I'm not wearing orange, and I have 3 copies of Screaming for Vengeance on vinyl. I only paid for one, and the one that I paid for, I got through the Columbia Record Club.
Oh,
I loved the record and book club were, if you knew how to work that system, oh my god, so much free stuff, and
yeah,
the price, because what screwed them over is everybody thought uh, that I'm paying $15 for this one record or whatever, including shipping. Back then was a lot of money, but they were just kind of trying to recoup the money that they you know lost sending you like 12 records for a penny,
yeah.
and over the course of the time, the like I was there for like 4 years, and I got must have been about 100 records, and eventually records, cassettes, or CDs, just because every time they had buy one get two free, and stuff like that. Oh yeah, yeah, because it just added up and lowered the average. Oh, what's up, Dean? 8 cassettes for a penny. I know, right? I think some of the ones I did were 12, and the science fiction book club was the same way. I still have my Elric volumes and Sanctuary and some Grey Mouser and Fafford books, all that I got through them. And this is 30 years later. I looked uh, like last year to see if the science fiction book club was still around, and it is. And you get like two books.
Yeah, my father-in-law, he has a whole bunch of these kind of leather-bound classics and stuff. And one is like he has like one wall of all these classics, like
Mhm.
Shakespeare and stuff like that. But then there's another wall with like all science fiction themed ones, but they're like nicely leather-bound. It's kind of one of the few.
That's the way to go.
Yeah.
Do I have it? I just got this one. Uh, Leather bound.
Oh, nice. What book is that?
The King in Yellow.
Oh, nice.
So when I finish reading this, I'll be even more crazy than I already am. And it's got some illustrations, like 10 of them, and they're decent. Uh, but it was not cheap. Fine, I wanted something, uh, old, and I couldn't really find anything that wasn't like $1,000.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't watched not recently, but like there was like a time I was watching this like book collector. This guy from England, and he would just kind of. What was great about the video was his like passion for books and things. You
Hmm.
can kind of reads through. Most of it was like a lot of Tolkien stuff because I guess it's kind of because he would sell. He was like he would find books and then sell them and connect it with buyers and stuff. And a lot of people wanted different tokens and stuff,
Hmm.
like original printing of like The Hobbit and things like that, and
I've
also
got
even the
one.
later stuff like
I've got an
the
original Lord of the Rings trilogy that
oh
was
nice
given to me. Yeah, I mean it's old, 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 old. The dust jackets are kind of not so good, but my mom lived at the senior center, and one of the ladies was getting rid of stuff, and she knew I liked that kind of thing. She's like, "Oh, would you like this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's only worth about $1,000." And this was, you know, almost 20 years ago, and I've had it ever since. I've got a first print Sherlock Holmes, the complete works of complete collection, Sherlock Holmes, and a couple other really really valuable old books. The entire Gnome Press, Conan, because in a lot of ways they're like gold. They're always going up. They're never going to go down until such time as people no longer want to read that stuff.
yeah
When you will own nothing, that kind of thing, that nonsense, comes to pass. When you're living in THX 1138, when you're living in that world, no one will have books, and the people that will have books won't let you know they have books.
yeah whole Fahrenheit 451 kind of thing. I was actually
Yeah, right, right.
this morning Feral Historian did a video on what was it called? Equilibrium, the gun kata movie with Christian Bale. It's like, you ever
Oh,
seen
I
that
love
one?
that
It was
book,
like,
Equilibrium.
yeah. So yeah,
I just
he compared it to like some of the source materials, like 1984, Fahrenheit 451, and other ones, and kind of I guess when he first saw it, he kind of just thought of it as being very derivative, but then I guess his more recent kind of viewing, he has a better appreciation of it.
yeah, there's some things about that story that are retarded, But you know,
Well, I think that's the point because the society is just basically trying to make people so not human, you know, just push them down.
yeah, I think the reality would be more like Logan's Run,
Hmm.
where as we see it today, humanity is just going to race headlong into complete hedonism,
Yeah.
and the subtext of Logan's Run is that everybody is just living to be old enough to do certain things, and even then, who knows about the age limit when you only live to 30 years old.
Hmm.
The age of consent is probably like 9,
Mm.
um, which
Yeah.
is pretty disgusting. But there, you just go outside and you see everybody just uh, me, more, more, more. I mean, when was it that we all decided it's okay to go to the store in your pajamas? You
Yeah.
know, just lazy. Uh, Nobody dresses up
Yeah.
for anything, and we used to, 75 years ago, you dressed up for freaking everything. You're going outside,
Yeah.
put on a tie and a hat.
Yeah. Look at an Abbott and Costello movie. There he's, that little hat is actually kind of a fancy hat. That little bowler that he was wearing. It's like
Hmm.
trying to dress himself up. They would have like a jacket, usually a tie.
Hmm. Jackie was actually wearing a tie for his game yesterday. Sport coat, tie. Uh, it was interesting. Those kids, man, I ordered 4 pizzas and they just devoured them in 5 minutes. It
Mm.
was like, I mean, they left about a half a pizza, but you know, 7 kids just.
Yeah.
What's up, OGG? Again, you guys, if you want to pop in and hang out for a while, the link is in my Discord. I'm going to do the show every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 9 a.m. I might run more than an hour, but probably not, just to say hi, get the day rolling. Hopefully, folks like DM James and Bear will come over here, and then I can kill two birds with one stone. Because if I go over to their shows, I'm there for like 3-4 hours and I don't get anything done. And I love those guys, but I got to get some shit done.
Yeah.
I've got a bunch of projects in the way of miniature painting and game writing and modules and stuff, and I didn't get any writing done for over a month because of the work, and I've got I got some catching up to do.
What
So
kind of stuff you're writing?
I'm writing a module for the Red Room's Savage Swords game. I'm writing a supplement for Barrows and Borderlands. I'm writing a supplement for Emperor's Choice and a module, and I want to start writing my own game, but that's like the least priority
Yeah.
because 99% of the gaming population make it a second breakfast. Good. The like I said, the majority of gamers want to play zero to hero, mud sword,
Mm.
um, you know, nothing of consequence. And then when there is any, major, sort of hint at domain play, they're gone. They're
Mm.
done. They don't want that. They just want to go in, you know,
Yeah.
kick
So,
down doors, kill monsters, take their stuff. Uh,
yeah. One of the things I've noticed with and I guess with the writing and things like I kind of like to homebrew or kind of make my own thing. I kind of look at modules here for some inspiration, but and like I almost feel like I should take because it's so much stuff that I've prepared, and it's like I should take it and make it for other people to use in the future.
mhm.
Like I was thinking to do that some with the Star Wars game that we did.
Yeah,
And
I'm
and
kind
I
of
noticed,
bummed we're not going to get to play either of those games because Omen's going on vacation.
yeah,
So we'll just do more of this on Saturday nights, which is fine.
yeah.
Um,
Those are I mean, those are fun. I mean, that's how I think I first found you. We just talk about some kind of subject of sci-fi or something.
And I will go back to doing some more of that. Actually, have a topic every once in a while. But
Yeah,
the first 2 or 3 years I was doing it, I kind of hit every topic, and Lord knows we won't do high tech armor again. Oh
yeah.
dear God!
Yeah, I remember when because you've been doing this like way longer from when I met you, and
Mhm.
I'd send in topics like, hey, maybe we can talk about this, and it's like, I think we've done that already. I think we did that already, but we could talk about it.
And it's weird too because like not going to mention any of the bigger channels, but they recycle and go back over the same
Yeah,
talking points. I did why player characters must die years and years and years ago, and since then I've seen the same channel. Not going to say who do it like 3 times.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
we didn't forget, and I realized they're putting these videos out for the newest viewers who haven't watched the whole catalog, and I get that, but I don't want to do that. Then those other videos are pointless. And I probably said it more succinctly back then than I could do it again now because there's going to be some frustration in my tone. It's like, yeah, you guys, you need to kill off your player characters. Not arbitrarily, of course, but you know what I mean.
yeah.
Uh, oh,
Or sometimes,
geez.
yeah, I'd see like it would be like a different subject, but you'd repackage the same content into it. Yeah, I saw something the other day that reminded me of you. You listen to John Della Rose? He's
Oh
a
yeah, yeah,
science
yeah,
fiction
yeah. I
writer.
like him a lot.
Yeah,
I
and
know
he
other people don't, but those people are insane.
so he did a video on Appendix N.
On what?
Appendix N.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. He seems like a
He,
casual gamer, but he
yeah, yeah.
he knows his shit.
Yeah, he seems to be more into like just kind of board games in general.
Well, and
But
his own
yeah,
writing,
yeah, and
which
he was yeah like he was like talking about his own his own sci-fi work, and he has also like a steampunk novel,
mm,
and he was like kind of didn't know where to go to like make it into like an RPG, but he thought it would make a good RPG. That was one of the things he was talking about.
well,
Talked about
there's like 12 of them already. But good luck.
yeah,
It's not
yeah.
like
There's like
anybody's going to stop making role playing games just
yeah,
because we get to the limit. That'll never happen.
yeah, and or you could just make it in for a setting, for an open something that has an open license and just make the setting. You know,
Thanks, OG.
the what was he? I didn't know. Like I guess Jethro Johnson was his name. That one of those like I think he's one of those Brosar guys. He
Hmm.
like wrote a whole thing about Appendix N or whole analysis of it.
Yeah, I there's some people out there I still haven't come across or met or had any interactions with. He's one of them. The pundit is another one. I probably
Mhm.
should, but some of these people, if they present themselves a certain way, like even with Venger, it took me
Mhm.
a while before I even would watch one of his videos, and then I did, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
okay, because I was worried about the whole,
yeah,
Satanist thing, and I'm like, oh, he's just playing a part. Okay,
yeah.
that's cool.
Surprise, motherfuckers!
I love his stuff. His writing, since I started doing the YouTube thing, uh, he's one of my absolute favorite writers when it comes
Mhm.
to not giving two F's and writing whatever he wants. I don't always agree with or like or even appreciate some of the stuff he does,
Yeah.
but when he's on point, you know, uh, his stuff is just fun. Obviously it's for grown-ups,
Hmm.
but and grown-ups who can take a joke.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. The funny thing is, I think he's of kind of this kind of not D&D kind of um community of streamers and stuff. I think he's like the first one I followed just because I used to listen to John Delarose from quite some time ago, and from him I found him from somebody else, and then like I think he just seemed to be adjacent to some of those people, and I ended up just following him.
Yeah, that's when we started doing this, it was just me and Jackie just doing father and son channel stuff. I didn't even know there was a community. I didn't know anything
Yeah,
about, YouTube whatsoever, other than music videos that I would watch. And the first two people that reached out to us was our good friend Grim Desi and Cal Banoni, and they both said, "Hey, go watch these shows, talk to these people, blah blah blah." And then the first people to invite me on the show was Joe and Randy from Biggest Geekus, and sadly they kind of don't do this anymore. And they were not just because the first that invited me on, but those guys were two of the most solid, no nonsense but fair, normal guys, that
Mhm.
did this. And for whatever reason, they called it quits.
Yeah.
I see them on Facebook, and I say hi during the holidays and stuff like that, but I wish they'd come back.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's maybe it's either a hobby and it just kind of had other things, or it's like some. I guess sometimes people are trying to make it into a bit. I don't really know much about their channel, but maybe they're trying to make it, turn a little bit of money. But I don't know if they.
Well, they were trying to make a competitive drive-through,
Hmm.
uh, make their own print on demand and
Yeah.
PDF place, and that did not work. And uh, I honestly I tried to help financially, but they said no, we want to keep it just the two of us. I'm like, hey,
Hmm.
okay. I hope you have enough money for advertising. Without it, you will die,
Yeah.
and it did.
Yeah.
If, word of mouth is awesome, but it
Yeah.
is not even close to uh, a percent of what you need. You need cold hard cash.
Yeah. I mean, does drive through have that much competitors, or I mean,
Well, there's
there's.
there's Lulu, there's drive through, there's a couple other places
Hmm.
that I can't remember, and you know, of course, there's Amazon, and you can't beat Amazon.
Yeah.
I finally got Miguel to start putting his stuff on Amazon, and there's like 13, 15 of their books on Amazon, and I kid you not, if you order from Lulu, it's going to take between a month and 2 months to get your book.
Hmm.
You order from Amazon, you might get it the next day.
Wow.
And while I've had Amazon send me some copies that were janky, I've
Yeah.
also had Lulu send copies that were worse. And I tell you, waiting 6 months or 2 months, 6 weeks, whatever, for a book for it to come in, and you're like, oh, this is not that great, is it? And nothing that I would throw away, but definitely, I'd have to either be careful or just, go, okay, this is the best they can do. I'm going to look
Yeah.
elsewhere. And I haven't ordered from Lulu since the last book I got was one of the original prints of Savage Swords, which I'm glad I got, even though it's not perfect. It has artwork that won't be in the newer versions because Miguel decided to stop using AI art, which I kind of frowned upon because the art that he picked, while done by humans, is inferior, in my opinion, to print on demand photorealistic stuff, and especially
Yeah.
for sci fi. I find that photorealistic AI art blows everything else out of the water versus cartoony, you know, game art.
Yeah.
Whereas for a fantasy role playing game, that's the way it started. That's the way it's mostly been,
Yeah.
and it's acceptable and it works because it's so completely fantastic and fantasy oriented that your brain doesn't immediately try to put it together in your imagination like a movie. But any
Yeah.
kind of sci-fi, we've seen 99% of the sci-fi on the big screen.
Exactly.
So that's what I expect. That's what I want. Even superhero stuff, I want it more realistic. And you know
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
the anti clanker community out there just they're not having it yet. But hate to tell them, AI is going to win one way or the other. Just go on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Or it's a
Try
good.
not to find a AI video.
Yeah. And I think it's a good foot, like a little boost for anybody who's like just starting. Because let's say I'm going to make a module for something, or a setting or something. I'm not going to hire an artist because I got the budget is zero. just what my time is.
And that's always been my point. Is the bottom line.
Yeah.
The gatekeepers that want to keep AI out also want to keep the big companies in business and the little guys from ever making a dime.
Hmm.
You can't do it. I mean, the Red Room put out 65 books with AI art to get them where they are now, and they're still not anywhere near where they would love to be, where they can both retire and just do this.
Yeah.
Other folks out there have to continue to use AI art. If you, I was trying to get art for a project. It's like minimum $300 a page.
Yeah.
Do you know how many
I mean,
copies of your
a
book you have
cover.
to sell on average to get that money back?
Oh gosh, so I what
Couple
maybe
hundred.
yeah.
If you're using a print on demand, you'll be lucky if you're going to get $5, $7 back per copy of the book.
Okay, that's not
Um,
well. That's not too
it's
bad.
but it's not a lot. You
Yeah.
literally have to sell thousands of books
Yeah, and
to make money,
I think with like
and
a like a big publisher or like a big printer, it's like you got to like order like into thousands.
multi thousands, and
Yeah.
then you're making bank. Because for whatever reason, it's cheaper to order 500 than it is to order 10.
Yeah.
It's just like making a mold for a miniature. The first one, the mold's going to cost you, a crap ton of money, and you're going to have to sell a crap ton of those miniatures to make your money back, because the process to make the first one from
Mm.
scratch, you got a lot of machinery to buy. And if you're just making your first book, you're trying to print it at home. Ask Matt Tapp from Barrels and Borderlands what that's like. And as for drive through just does not want to take my money. I don't know what I did to piss them off, what list I got on. I finally got them to kind of sell me something, but like every time I would try to buy a book, I go onto the drive through and I do all the things, put in my credit card number, which I know always, it's not even a credit card, it's a debit card, always works because I always test make a purchase before.
Yeah.
And they would say, "Oh, well, your card's not working for some reason." Call my bank. They say nothing wrong. We didn't even see the the ping. They didn't
Yeah.
try to run my card, and they would tell
Yeah.
me in live chat, "Oh yeah, try your card." You know, and the bank would say they're lying to you. They just don't want your money. But then I got them to send me what was the equivalent of a gift card for $5 for electric two glue for Barrels and Borderlands. They gave me the $5 credit to see if it would work, and it worked. So what I've surmised is I got put on a list, and they don't know how to find the list to take me off the list, because I've made the same spiel about them for years, literally like 3 years. I would have probably sent them over 30 grand in sales in the
Yeah.
last 3 years. Just buying products to review and own extra copies of the original D&D books.
Yeah.
I did manage to get uh, copies of the Player's Handbook, Monster Manual, DMG, Unearthed Arcana, and I don't know how I did that. I think I actually got them off eBay because I just wanted reprints so that my son could use and that I could use and retire my old copies. And I would spend crap tons of money, but then I would come on YouTube and then complain about it, and that someone probably heard went, "Oh, well, screw you, you're going on the list," or whatever. And now they don't know how to take me off the list because it's been so long. They probably, cycled through those employees.
Yeah. 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 I think a lot of it's just like the individual employee, but who knows? And they just yeah, then they'll just put something on it and nobody knows how to get rid of it.
Hmm. And yes,
Yeah.
OG, I do. I support Venger, although I think he's back on drive through. I support the Red Room. I support uh, OGGM, but I don't think he's in any. I think he's in good standing with them. So if it was like some sort of weird comment, that they took the wrong way, that doesn't make any sense other than me bagging on them not taking my money. I mean, who doesn't want to take my money, right? I mean, oh, I don't want his money. Fuck you. You know, I'm just gonna what send more customers to you. You shouldn't have an opinion on anything other than that. Is it money?
Yeah, because their service is so great that we will die without them. It's like, oh yeah, every I think every creator pretty much has something on their website that you can order through, at
Hmm.
least the
Hmm.
big ones.
Yeah, and obviously, uh, we should just make games and keep our opinions to ourselves. But some people, myself included, can't help but, you know, say stuff that's going to piss somebody off. But I mean, literally, no matter where you stand in this world right now, that's going to be the case.
Yeah.
You're going to piss
Well,
off one side or the other, or the third or the fourth side, whatever. I don't know how many sides there are
yeah.
anymore.
Well, that's the
It's
thing. They won't let you not. Like they won't let you not take a stance.
mhm. Yeah. Who was it? Emaru tried to say, I don't know. Don't ask me. And everybody freaking on a
Exactly. Yeah.
particular side just like lost their shit. You just take our side because no, I'm not taking any side. Fuck you. I'm not on anybody's side because nobody's on my side. All the sides are big fucking clubs that I'm not welcome to participate or join.
Yeah.
George Carlin said it a long time ago, and it hasn't changed. It's only gotten worse and more solidified.
It's the
You
club they
know,
used to beat you with.
I suppose. Yeah, yeah, Dean. I wish they would just fix the issue, and I would literally buy like a couple of books minimum every month.
Yeah.
Just it was so bad that I wanted to get a copy of Volume Two of Dark Pudding from I forget who put it out. And I couldn't get it. They wouldn't let me buy it. I couldn't find it anywhere except over in the UK with a huge shipping charge. And Bear went and ordered it and had them deliver it to me, which was really effing nice of him. And I love that stuff. The Black Pudding uh, books, Heavy Helping, Volume 1 and 2, just full of crazy, psychotic, goofy shit. What's up, Omen? We're all on the side of good games. I don't think anybody says I want a shitty game. I want to play the worst game out there. Oh wait, there is. That would be that guy who plays Morkborg. Otherwise, we all want good products, good games. Uh, what's up, Mobius? Wait, I agree. And riding the fence in between is the road to a sore ass and hemorrhoids. I suppose. The problem is people on that one side of the aisle like to claim that not taking a side is taking a side. They won't let you be neutral. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, because pressure, comes from all different directions and means, etc. And like Rambo, we just want to be left alone. Can
Yeah.
we just freaking play our games in our dining rooms and be left the frick alone?
Yeah.
My, my son had a bunch of kids playing a wild, woolly, crazy game yesterday, and none of that shit came up. There's I'm certain they all have other things in common. That's how they met and became friends, etc. But that shit doesn't come up. They don't care. They're there to freaking eat pizza and roll dice.
Hmm. Yeah.
Exactly, Omen. We play games to have fun and get away from real life. And in injecting that, I mean, obviously, there's some things from the real world you have to inject. It's like when I say I want to make a game that's as unearth like as possible. That's literally impossible because my entire experience is derived from Earth. But having my nose in fantasy books as long as I have has given me some insight on how to make things different. But no matter what, I mean, unless they're all alien blob people and that's all the whole entire universe is non-humans, then
Yeah.
you can't do it. You're gonna have doors. Oh my gosh, Earth has doors. You're gonna have windows. Oh my gosh, Earth has windows.
Yeah.
You're
I
gonna
think.
have those things.
Yeah.
Uh,
One of the weird things, like with like the whole like where like the PC crowd, the woke crowd, got into games. It's like you can't do this in your game. What? Well, I put slavers in my game to have kind of the obvious enemy. You know, the good guys are not slavers and the bad guys are the
Mhm.
slavers. No, you can't
Mhm.
have that. It would like upset people. And maybe the players might choose to be slavers. It's like, okay, that would be an
It's
interesting
their
campaign
choice.
where,
Who are
and
you
I
to
will,
say what they can and can't do?
and, and as DM, I wouldn't feel as bad as throwing some three extra monsters at them.
Or a horde of
Town guard.
paladins. I used
Yeah.
to run, I ran a really long, kind of still running evil campaign. It went 35 years, I want to say, about 35 years,
Hmm.
25, 35 years. I'm not doing math right now. And, my job was, coming up with more and more heroes to come chase them down and do stuff.
Hmm.
But, and they got, they took their licks, but eventually, they actually decided to become good, and that changed the entire campaign for 5, 7 of those years, which was a great story arc. Where they got to be Darth Vader-y, and then realize, oh hey, I've been doing the wrong thing. Let's fix it, or let's
Yeah.
do better, or whatever. Instead of what I find actually happens more often, players start being heroes and then slowly decline into murder hobos.
Yeah. The Yeah, I think well, our Star Wars campaign is Dark Side. So, and I kind of I want to. Yeah, I think one of the things I did with like this when we guys went to that ice planet, where just to kind of show there is an option for redemption in the game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And just because we said at the beginning we're gonna play bad guys or whatever, that
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that one or more might change, and then we have to
Mhm.
kill him or her or vice versa.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be open
Yeah. Could
to
you
whatever.
like some of the best characters are ones that kind of like they redeem themselves. Like Darth
Yes,
Vader in the end redeems himself.
that
I
was one
mean,
of
it's
the
kind.
best things about it. That's why
Yeah.
he also made my
Uh,
my list of villains I love to hate. Or they don't realize they're the villain.
yeah.
Think of all the opportunities we have to uh, sort of rub our player characters' nose in the fact that what they've been doing has been horrific on some level. The murder hoboing and whatnot. And the hypocrisy. It's okay to kill the grave robbers and then steal their stuff
Yeah.
and not return it. Wait a minute, what?
Yeah, I remember that in like Skyrim. I'm like thinking, you're playing Skyrim. A lot of there's like ruined fortresses with filled with bandits, and you go in there and you get to kill them. I'm like, is that that's their kind of their home? Like you just broke into their home. It was a ruined fortress. It's been abandoned for a century, and
Mhm.
they've made it their home. And you're like, go in there and you kill them because they're bandits. Well, I guess if they have a bounty, maybe, but it's not like you're not always getting a bounty to do that.
This is a good one. This one a good one from Dean. What's your favorite ancient evil? The kind that wakes up with an army, or the kind that takes over a current empire through subterfuge?
Oh yeah,
Oh, honestly, I'm going to go with the subterfuge just because uh, you get to do stuff as the GM behind the scenes and leave and drop hints and if the players figure it out, cool. If not, then they have an army to fight. But I've found that no matter which way you do it, if there's an army to fight,
oh, so yeah, let me continue here. Oh, you're back.
yeah, so 7 to 10 of the players are going to run away from the army. They never want to do that. They won't take orders from anybody but themselves, which in a way is kind of the path to evil, or at least hedonism and selfishness. Sometimes you have to take orders. Sometimes you are not the boss of everything, especially
Yeah,
yourself. And sometimes submitting to someone else's rule or authority is actually the path to goodness. In that you don't know everything, and it's not the world doesn't revolve around you. There are other people involved, or at least you should behave that way. But that's not always the case. Like I said, 7 out of 10 players are just going to say, "No, we're gonna sit this one out and every other one out."
Yeah. I would say the subterfuge one would be the harder one to do in a game. Probably easier to do the guy
It's
with.
harder to make it believable and fulfilling and entertaining
Mhm.
without you know being heavy-handed about it. You got to kind of
Yeah.
make the bad guys slowly grow, and you got to drop hints. And some, speaking of hints, man, sometimes I've noticed lately that the people we know and play with are so goddamn paranoid that they can't trust even the most simple things at face value, and that it actually ruins a game because
Mhm.
of their paranoia and second guessing, and I'm guilty of it too. Don't get me wrong. Looking for every at every possible angle before making a decision, and not just you know sometimes things are out of your control.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not about you. Sometimes a cigar is just a fucking cigar.
Yeah.
But no, no, no. They gotta should say we have got to crunch the numbers and uh, you know figure out every possible way it could blow up in our face, and then prepare for each and every one of those
I,
possibilities, which most people don't do.
I remember watching this web series. It was supposed to be LARPers, but it was kind of like a regular tabletop game, but there were LARPers, and the DM was like he had this thing set up. It was the guy's birthday or something, and he just hid a cake behind a closet door. And of course, they're LARPing, so they're in the basement of his house, and they're kind of like, okay, you come upon this door, and it's like that door's trapped. He's like, you don't find any traps. I'm pretty sure there's something wrong with it. They don't open the door, and he was like, it was supposed to be like that, and then the birthday party would start, but they wouldn't open the door. It was like that feeling. Yeah, I got a little
Well,
bit of that.
Bo, if you don't want hints, you don't really want to play. You want facts. You never get facts until after the fact.
Yeah,
You can't. The DM can't say this is absolutely this in every situation.
yeah,
We have to be subtle. We have to leave it open ended. We have to leave it vague sometime
yeah,
for you to figure out. If everything is just cut and dried, you're playing a side scrolling video game, and I got plenty of those. I'm not
yeah.
really
And
there
it's
for
a
that. You
it,
have to. You have to. It takes some skill. It takes some finesse.
mhm,
But not
yeah.
trusting absolutely anything. Uh, then why are you even with the players?
Exactly. Like, yeah, one of what my most biggest peeve on that subject would be where the players meet in a let's say in the common room of an inn, like the classic setup, and it's like okay, they start out already like suspicious of each other. I mean, they're literally talking to each other. You set up the game for them, and they're not quite on the same side yet, like or like for like a while, you're like, why should I go with you? It's like, okay, why did you play the yeah, why did you decide to play this game? You're gonna be so you gotta kind of on a certain level metagame where like I remember like once I was trying to we would do like an informal story game with my girls. It's like my character's shy. It's like, okay, you can't do shy. You can't play a shy character because they're not going to be going on adventures. They're not going to be, interacting with people.
I'm going to go back here a couple of comments. If the PCs are not the center of the game, why not? Well, then why are you first level? First level implies you're not the center of the universe. You're starting out trying to become the center of the universe or something akin to that. If you're first level, you're nobody. Why should the world give two shits about a nobody? You have to earn some prestige, some renown, and then you can start, metagaming that you're the center of the universe. Otherwise,
Yeah,
players would never die. You'd never have to roll because you just succeed because the universe revolves around you. And no, also, hints imply there's only one way to do things. In the GM's mind, that might be all he or she has come up with. But if the players come up with some other phenomenal, awesome other way to solve the problem. That's what we live for as GMs, is for the players to come up with something we didn't expect.
Yeah.
Keeps us on our toes. We in a any given situation, we're gonna go, okay, this is probably how, the most likely way to solve X problem. And we're not really too worried about making 10 different possible solutions, because if there's 10 different possible solutions, then someone probably would have solved it before you. They would have
Yeah.
come along and went, oh, all you have to do is flip this switch and the problem's solved. No, you're adventurers. You're there to try and figure out what the solution is. You can take the obvious course, and the more obvious the course, you could also probably equate the easier the solution is. And for low level characters, the solutions have to be pretty easy, and even if that does include combat, because otherwise their chances of doing anything are pretty damn slim. I only played a couple of the Final Fantasies. Uh, I don't know what you mean by like you're getting warmer. Current day Earth feels like post cataclysm crin to me. Never read any of those books. Yeah, it's probably a verbiage thing. The same thing. Center of the universe, center of the game. You can't demand that, otherwise, the GM has no say. It's all about you, and you can't fail, and you just get all the plot armor you could ever want. It's a game. There has to be things bigger and better than you, things that can defeat you, whether they be from a lucky die roll or a circumstance. You can't have everything. You can't succeed at everything. You can't expect everything to go your way. That's what the dice are for. But the GM has, some say in what's going on. He or she creates a world where things are concrete. Not every game runs the world where every NPC is zero level, and at first level you're better than everybody. That's fucking retarded. Again, that's plot armor, and it worked for Gygax's game for a while, but lo and behold, as soon as the first modules came out, there were NPCs that were higher than first level, because the whole world is full of people higher level than us,
Hmm.
and they get to make the rules, and you can play within their rules, or you can go somewhere else and try to make your own kingdom, etc. But there has to be some verisimilitude, I guess is the word, uh, which I never
Right.
use, but it has to you know make sense. The king or the governor or whatever of any city you run across as a first level character should be better than you at what he does, and that's being
Yeah.
governed. And sometimes that means in a previous life they were a seventh level thief or a 23rd level magic user. You won't know because they don't go touting that sort of you know information. They don't let you know, or maybe they do. Uh, there are people who were sheriffs and military commanders and things like that that are now
Hmm.
politicians. They're not zero level. They have more than 3 to 7 hit points. They will kick our ass if we mess with them, whether it's a fist fight or with legalese. They will kick our first level asses to kingdom come.
Yeah. Yeah. The like town guards. They have training. They have equipment. They have everything. There's probably they're probably a couple levels higher than one. I mean, maybe the average, like the peasant might be like a zero level, like
Mhm.
something. And some games have zero level. Some games you even start at zero level, and then like the level one is where you kind of finally you accomplished one thing.
Mhm. Yeah, that if you notice, like in like Elder Scrolls and those games,
Hmm.
uh, even the rats go up levels as you go up levels.
Hmm.
That's one way to do it. I kind of hated that because
Yeah.
certain things should be certain things. I should not be spending 30 minutes fighting a giant rat because now I'm 50th level, and
Yeah.
so is the rat. I should be
Yeah.
able to kill 50 rats because I'm 50th level. But that's the way they made
Yeah.
their challenge rating system, whatever you want to call it.
Hmm.
Other games have different things. There are a lot of games like the Palladium, everything has a level, and it
Mhm.
may be your level, it may be lower. Uh,
Yeah, one of the the great thing I like, yeah, I don't, I kind of like they do that in like World of Warcraft and stuff. I think now, like the old one was great because the classic where you would, you go into a zone that's too high for you,
hmm
and you're like, oh, I want to get there now. You might like just
hmm
for an RPG game, it's probably the best, kind of the best way. Just have things be their level. You go in there, either and let's say they accidentally go in there and they wipe, and then the next crew comes back, they avoid it until they get high enough, or like they go in there and they run away from the fight, but see all that loot and possibilities, and then like we're gonna come back here when we're like level 5 or something. That whole like
hmm
that progression is it's kind of it's part of the fun.
and again, the GM can hint that this area is beyond your capabilities.
Yeah,
By here be dragons type of thing. Well,
yeah,
there's dragons. We can't possibly beat the dragon, nor can we defeat the 12th level wizard, being that we're a bunch of first level characters. Kind of idea. I mean, I've seen it happen. I've seen just through sheer luck and numbers, because kind of like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I use as an example all the time. Shredder's like a 10th level freaking master samurai ninja, whatever, right? The turtles are like second, third level, but there's four of them.
yeah,
One turtle runs up, tries swings, and Shredder makes him look like freaking poo, 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 he's on his ass. Donatello runs up, tries the same thing. Donatello's on his ass. But then they get together and they surround him, and okay, one guy goes in for a feint. Shredder takes the bait, and then Leonardo freaking kneecaps him from behind or something.
yeah,
You've got that advantage. When you outnumber even a high leveler, but if you still can't roll high enough to beat his armor class -2 because you need a 21, you're going to lose.
yeah,
Um, it's just
yeah.
some
Yeah,
things you cannot win, and I cannot tell you how many times I've seen players insist that if it's in front of them in the game, they should absolutely be able to defeat it. Like,
yeah.
no, you went in the wrong area. You know,
Do you?
you can't you
Yeah,
can't beat this. You can't. You will all die. And you could tell them that, but I've had players tell me I shouldn't know that. Don't tell me that. I'm like, okay, well, you're trying to ruin the game for everybody by getting everybody killed right here and right now because of your stubbornness or you're not wanting to know, things outside what your character would know. Well, I want to keep people coming to my table, and I
yeah,
don't want people to say, well, can you not invite so and so? I don't want either of those things to happen because they both make sense from a certain point of view, and everybody has the right to come to a table that they've been invited to, and have a semblance of a good time.
yeah. Yeah, I think there's lots of ways to telegraph, I guess,
Indeed.
the difficulty. You can be like, oh yeah, all the king's men came went in there and they all died, or something like that.
Mhm.
Um, I guess on a
Some
similar
pretty good choice.
notion is do you tell your players like the AC, like what they have to hit, or do you keep
Sometimes,
it secret?
sometimes after a bit, I usually try to keep the suspense, because after like let's say 2 or 3 rounds of combat, they kind of know what they need and
Yeah.
what's not good enough. But the other thing is, I despise die rollers, die rolling mechanisms. I hate the fact that it's actually the only way to keep certain people from cheating. Because I know
Mhm,
and I play with people that I know are fudge and die rolls. I'm writing all my numbers, their numbers down, or keeping
mhm.
track of how many times they hit versus miss and things like that. So if they're fudging the rolls, it's going to come out in the numbers like, oh my gosh, you've never missed ever, or this is the third, fourth, fifth, seventh crit today.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, wow, you're incredibly lucky, and you were the exact kind of lucky last week and the week before and the week
Mm,
before. Um,
yeah.
but I, I,
When
I, I,
when
I
you come to
I
the table
always
with
say
the
that if I can't trust them, then I'm not going to invite them to my table. But there's something that happens with certain kinds of people you know, the the tension is building, and they're like, you know, if I fail, we all die. So I'm not gonna, they justify it, however, so that fudging the die roll, you know, is best for everybody. When in reality, it's not, because some of the best uh, memories are those failures, or the best spurs to the next adventure or the next situation, is because someone screwed up by rolling bad. And it's not your fault. You rolled bad. You have absolutely no control over that.
Yeah.
So you should never feel like it's my fault. Now, if you come up with a dumb idea and everybody says, "Yeah, let's do that," well, then yeah, you're a bad person, and you should be flogged.
I remember in high school
I I know,
there was
OG,
a
but there are people that do occasionally, if not regularly, fudge die rolls. I don't know. Um, when we were young, we did it, and maybe it just never, that realization or that habit never was broken. But yeah, folks, and I stole that idea from OGGM, not OGG. He gives out birthday 20s and holiday 20s, and other times, if you do something cool, you'll get a free reroll or a natural 20. And I was like, yeah, and instead of immediate experience points, because that's most of the games. It's just like you get experience points. Whoop de doo! I still need 47,000 to get to anything. So that's really, in the old days, it was like it made, it was like, oh, okay, cool, but sometimes the players deserve something immediate, to uh, the situation, that they can, sort of have luck on their side, in their, a little bit of luck in their pocket that they can expend for a you know, as of yet undetermined result. I also give them out for spicy memes. If somebody in the in the voice chat of a Discord game posts something that just makes me die laughing or something, or says something, I'll do that. We used to just call it brownie points back in the day, and to this day, I know of one player who never cashed in all of those brownie points that I used to hand out. And it's like, what do we get with them? And I'm like, I don't know. I'll figure something out. And for decades, he just kept putting them in an invisible bank. I need to talk to him one of these days and tell him, hey,
send them some brownies.
all right. That's a weird way to look at it, Dean. And as you should, OG, saving them, for like Omen did, where he used his Vorpal lightsaber to take out two of my badass vampires, lowered the experience points everybody got for that battle because it was no challenge. Not making it nil, but the significant factor and the risk factor was diminished. But saving them for when you have to make a save or die roll, oh yeah, absolutely. It's like the DM says save versus poison or something like that. I've seen it. You roll a one. I don't care what your pluses are. Most rules say you're dead, or you fail, which is weird because I actually think that's a dumb rule. Uh, Otherwise, because it makes math not math anymore. If I've got plus 17 on a saving throw and I roll a one, I rolled an 18, didn't I? Or do we just throw math out the window when ones are rolled?
Yeah.
I mean, because I've seen people like have, let's just go with saving throws where it really matters. Even a plus one means you didn't roll a one, and sometimes, at the very high levels, you're needing, fives and sixes or fours and threes. Well, what does that mean? Does that really mean that I just need a three no matter what you know, or one is so magical that it's just a matter of time before the DM just can kill you literally on purpose by going, oh, I need you to make 20 saving throws versus poison, right? I
Yeah.
mean, you could literally. I was in a game like 2 years ago. where we ran up on like 30 kobolds, and if they had all had poison darts in their blowguns or whatever,
Yeah.
okay, I got hit 5 times. Okay, make 5 saving throws. You're probably not going to make one of them.
Yeah. It kind of. Yeah, that would. I wouldn't do it like that because I figure that if your constitution can handle the poison, I guess you'd be overloaded with it. But I guess poison darts don't really work that way though. It's just kind of like such a small amount you're not being injected with it.
Yes and no. I mean, there are some poisons out there that even the most microscopic little amount would kill
Mm.
you. You know, very tiny amounts.
Yeah.
And if you know how to use that, how to extract that, how to get that, then yeah, I mean, go play around with some mercury. See how little a drop of mercury into your bloodstream will kill you. You know, it's a lot smaller than you think. It's called any.
Yeah.
Um,
The or if you get
so
like
yeah,
like a
a kobold's barrage of poison darts, you know, can do it, and the GM is well within his rights to throw challenges at you. A good GM knows when the challenge is too much
yeah.
and they're being a dick, because I've seen it. I've seen, it was like, there's
Hello?
a, what? Is someone trying to join? No, that's just me. And, you know, it's trying to switch. It's my show, damn it.
Welcome to my show.
It's not letting me move, but that's fine. Um, the numbers game will uh, where it's just a matter of time that one of those really bad things is going to happen, and that's why I also I'm not a big fan of random tables for monsters and wanderings and things like that. It's
Hmm.
like
It takes like the theme of something out. Like it could be like it could be a bear. It could be three other adventurers. It's like I feel like there should be some kind of narrative. I think maybe a table could work if it works with a narrative.
most good old modules would put things on those tables, the random wandering monster tables, that made sense.
Hmm.
Why they were there, but sometimes they didn't.
Yeah.
Uh, what is it? Keep on the Borderlands. It's mostly orcs and kobolds and shit, but you could roll random whites or walking around. If there was even one white in the Caves of Chaos from Keep on the Borderlands, there would be nothing but white kobolds and white orcs.
Yeah.
It's just touch one. Okay. Okay, now my minion, we go get the next one. And now my
Yeah.
minions, we get the orcs. One touch, lost a level, you're one of them. And you got 30 kobolds, running down on 2 orcs. Okay, now we got 2 orc, whites on our side. We'll send those orcs in first and see if they can get some more. It would just, spiral out of control.
Hmm.
Thank you for that. I am actually going to hit the road in just a minute because I got stuff to do.
Hmm.
But this was fun. Folks who are in the chat, folks who I know, folks who are watching this later, I'll be back bright and early Monday morning to do this again and see who wants to come in and join. If you've got only certain days you can be here, that's fine. Don't worry about it. We're just going to talk about random crap. We're going to try and keep it away from politics and stuff like that, just because there's enough of that, and I don't
Yeah.
give a shit. I have my own opinions and I do my own thing, but there's got to be some place where uh, we can not do that. If you want to,
Hmm.
do that, invite me to your politics channel, and I will always, try to find time. But I just, just want to play some games, hang out with some cool people, get some cool shit done. Thanks, OG. and I will be hanging out with some of you guys tonight when we play Savage Swords. Hopefully, everybody will show up. I think Bo can't make it, which is a shame. He's always a great role player. But I
Yeah.
also, if you guys have any topics you'd like to talk about, feel free to send them to me over in Discord. Private message me till I make a second breakfast channel, which I'll probably do later tonight. I want to get to something kind of important and get about my day. But you guys have yourself a great day, George. Thanks for the
Mhm.
idea. Thanks for the
Oh,
title.
thank you.
Thanks for being here tonight. Not gonna lie, looking forward to playing some more Star Wars.
Okay.
Uh, Big time, but
Yeah.
you know,
Well, yeah, and also the alien game's gonna be fun.
mhm.
But I just died again.
I
Uh,
should have died, but I guess Omen, read the thing wrong, which is really funny. I mean, if you think about all the crazy shit that happened and some of the shit that I did that was kind of crazy,
mhm.
that I ended up killing the thing, even though I wanted absolutely no fucking part of any of that. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm the last person who should be in combat. I'm not the
Yeah.
medic, but in
Got a
lieu of a
broken
medic,
leg.
if we're ever gonna go anywhere, I need to survive. It's if I die, you guys all die too. It's just a matter of
Yeah.
when. Oh yeah, go back into the sleep chambers. Sure, you will never be waking up.
Yeah.
You
We got
know,
to clean a few of them. Some of those cheap changers are pretty gross.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think we're all gonna die anyways, but you know, we'll see. We'll see. Owen's just out there chuckling. Good game, Owen. Good game. So everybody out there at TV Land, have yourself a fantastic weekend. I'm going to be putting together a wall unit so I can store my shit neater and tidier and more presentably because I've got this area with a bunch of PlayStations and Xbox and two DVD players. I don't know why there's two DVD players to the same TV. It's just a disaster of multimedia stuff that I've got to rearrange, and the only way to do that is getting a wall unit, putting it together, and doing that. So first rule: you don't go to the alien. The alien comes to you. Yeah, I know. We're all gonna die. All right, folks. Great weekend. Love you guys. Happy trails.